Chapter 2 My Mother's Death and the Mystic Amulet. My mother's single greatest wish in life was to see my elder brother married. Ah, when I finally gaze upon the face of Ananta's bride, I shall find heaven right here on earth. I often heard her express in those exact words her deep traditional longing for family continuity. I was about 11 years old when Ananta's engagement was arranged. Mother was in Calcutta joyously overseeing the elaborate preparations for the wedding. Only father and I remained at our home in Bareilly in northern India, where father had been transferred after spending 2 years in Lahore. I had already witnessed the grand festive weddings of my two older sisters, Roma and Uma, but for Ananta, as the eldest son, the arrangements were truly magnificent. Mother was warmly welcoming scores of relatives arriving daily in Calcutta from distant towns, housing them comfortably in a large, newly acquired home at 50 Amherst Street. Everything was meticulously prepared. The festive banquets, the ornate throne-like sedan chair in which my brother was to be carried to the bride's home, rows of shimmering, colorful lights, giant cardboard elephants and camels, brass and traditional musical ensembles, professional performers, and the priests who would solemnize the ancient rites. Father and I, in high spirits, were preparing to join the family in time for the ceremony. Shortly before the long-awaited day, however, I experienced a chilling, ominous vision. It happened at midnight in Bareilly. As I lay sleeping beside father on the veranda of our bungalow, I was suddenly awakened by a strange fluttering motion of the mosquito net over my bed. The sheer curtains parted, and there stood the beloved form of my mother. "Wake your father." Her voice was nothing more than a faint whisper. "Take the very first train at 4 o'clock this morning. Hurry to Calcutta if you wish to see me alive." With that, the wraith-like figure vanished into the night. "Father, father, mother is dying." The sheer terror in my voice jolted him awake. I sobbed out the tragic warning. "Pay no attention to that hallucination of yours," father replied, offering his characteristic skepticism in the face of sudden alarm. "Your mother is in perfect health. If we receive any actual bad news, we will leave tomorrow. You will never forgive yourself for not leaving right now." Anguish made me strike out bitterly. "And neither will I ever forgive you." The gloomy morning arrived, bearing an explicit telegram. "Mother critically ill. Wedding postponed. Come immediately." Father and I departed in a state of wild despair. At a transfer point along the way, one of my uncles met us. A train thundered toward the station, its approaching engine growing larger with terrifying speed. Out of the chaos inside me, a sudden, desperate urge arose to hurl myself onto the railroad tracks. Feeling already stripped of my mother, I could not bear to face a world suddenly emptied to the core. I had loved mother as my dearest friend on earth. Her comforting dark eyes had been my safest refuge through all the petty heartbreaks of childhood. "Is she still alive?" I paused to ask my uncle one final question. "Of course she is alive." He was quick to read the desperate resolve in my face. Yet I could scarcely bring myself to believe him. When we finally reached our home in Calcutta, it was only to confront the devastating reality of death. I collapsed into a state of near lifeless shock. Years would pass before any sense of peace touched my broken heart. Storming the very gates of heaven, my agonizing cries eventually summoned the Divine Mother herself. Her soothing words brought ultimate healing to my raw, grieving soul. "It is I who have watched over you, life after life, through the gentle love of many mothers. Look into my eyes and see the very dark eyes, those beautiful lost eyes you have been searching for." Father and I returned to Bareilly shortly after the cremation ceremonies for our beloved mother. Early every morning, I made a sorrowful pilgrimage to a large shioli tree that shaded the smooth green-gold lawn in front of our bungalow. In my more poetic moments, I imagined that the white shioli blossoms were showering themselves over the grassy altar in willing devotion. Mixing my tears with the morning dew, I frequently saw a strange ethereal radiance break through the dawn. Intense pangs of longing for God swept over me, and I felt a powerful, irresistible pull toward the Himalayas. Around this time, one of my cousins, newly returned from traveling through the sacred mountains, came to visit us in Bareilly. I sat enthralled, hanging on every word as he described the high mountain retreats of yogis and swamis. Let's run away to the Himalayas. When I pitched the idea one day to Dwarka Prasad, the young son of our landlord, my enthusiasm met a completely indifferent response. Instead, he reported my scheme to my elder brother, who had just arrived to visit father. Rather than simply laughing off the impractical dream of a young boy, Ananta made a point of openly ridiculing me. "Where is your orange robe?" he teased. "You can't very well be a Swami without one." Yet his words thrilled me in a way I could not explain. They conjured a vivid, crystal clear picture of myself wandering across India as a monk. Perhaps they stirred faint memories of a past life. Whatever the cause, I suddenly saw with effortless clarity how naturally I would wear the robes of that ancient monastic order. Chatting with Dwarka one morning, I felt a surging love for God descend upon me with the force of an avalanche. My companion paid only half-hearted attention to my impassioned words, but I was listening to my own heart with complete, undivided devotion. That very afternoon, I fled toward Nainital in the Himalayan foothills. Ananta pursued me relentlessly, and I was forced to return dejectedly to Bareilly. The only pilgrimage allowed me was my daily dawn walk to the Shioli tree, where my heart continued to weep for the lost mothers, both human and divine. The tear left in the family fabric by mother's death was irreparable. Father never remarried throughout his nearly 40 remaining years. Taking on the difficult role of both father and mother to his little flock, he grew noticeably more tender, more approachable. With quiet calmness and profound insight, he resolved our various family problems. After office hours, he would retreat like a hermit into the solitude of his room, practicing Kriya Yoga in sweet, uninterrupted serenity. Long after mother's passing, I tried to hire an English nurse to take care of the household details and make my parents' life more comfortable, but father firmly shook his head. "My need for such care ended with your mother," he said, his eyes remote with lifelong devotion. "I will not accept ministrations from any other woman." 14 months after mother's passing, I learned that she had left me a momentous message. Ananta had been present at her deathbed and had recorded her final words. Although she had asked that they be revealed to me after 1 year, my brother had delayed. He was soon set to leave Bareilly for Calcutta to marry the girl mother had chosen for him. One evening, he summoned me to his side. "Mukunda, I have been reluctant to share these strange tidings with you," Ananta said, his tone carrying a note of quiet resignation. "I feared it would only inflame your desire to leave home, but you are already bristling with divine ardor anyway. When I caught you on your way to the Himalayas recently, I came to a firm resolve. I must no longer postpone fulfilling my solemn promise." My brother handed me a small box and delivered mother's message. "Let these words be my final blessing, my beloved son Mukunda," mother had said. "The hour has come for me to reveal a series of extraordinary events that followed your birth. I first learned of your destined path when you were merely a babe in my arms. I carried you then to the home of my guru in Benares. Almost hidden behind a crowd of disciples, I could barely catch sight of Lahari Mahashaya as he sat in deep meditation. As I cradled you, I prayed in my heart that the great Guru would notice us and bestow his blessing. As my silent devotional plea grew in intensity, he opened his eyes and beckoned me to approach. The crowd made way for me and I bowed at his sacred feet. My master placed you on his lap, resting his hand upon your forehead to spiritually baptize you. Little mother, your son will be a yogi, he declared. Like a spiritual engine, he will carry many souls to the kingdom of God. My heart leaped with joy to find my secret prayer answered by the omniscient Guru. Shortly before your birth, he had already told me that you would follow his path. Later, my son, your vision of the great light was revealed to me and your sister Roma as we observed you motionless on your bed from the next room. Your young face was illuminated and your voice rang with iron resolve as you spoke of heading to the Himalayas in search of the divine. Through all these signs, dear son, I came to understand that your journey lies far from worldly ambitions. Yet, the most remarkable event of my life brought even further confirmation, an event that now impels this deathbed message. It was an encounter with a sage in the Punjab. While our family was living in Lahore, a servant came rushing into my room one morning in great excitement. "Mistress, a strange sadhu is here," he exclaimed. "He insists on seeing the mother of Mukunda." Those simple words struck a profound chord within me, and I went immediately to greet the visitor. Bowing at his feet, I felt instinctively that I stood before a true man of God. "Mother," he said, "the great masters wish you to know that your time on earth is short. Your next illness will be your last." A quiet silence followed, during which I felt no fear, only a deep, enveloping vibration of peace. Finally, he spoke again. "You are to be the guardian of a sacred silver amulet. I will not hand it to you today. To prove the truth of my words, the talisman will materialize directly in your hands tomorrow while you meditate. On your deathbed, you must instruct your eldest son Ananta to keep the amulet for 1 year and then pass it to your second son. Mukunda will understand its meaning from the great ones. He should receive it around the time he is prepared to renounce all worldly desires and begin his vital search for God. After he has held the amulet for a few years and it has fulfilled its purpose, it will vanish. Even if kept in the most secure place, it will return to the source from which it came." I offered alms to the saint and bowed before him in deep reverence. Declining the offering, he departed with a blessing. The following evening, as I sat with folded hands in meditation, a silver amulet materialized between my palms, exactly as the sadhu had promised. I felt its sudden presence by its cool, smooth touch. I have guarded it fiercely for more than 2 years, and now I leave it in Ananta's care. Do not grieve for me, my child, for I shall be ushered by my great Guru into the arms of the infinite. Farewell, my child. The Cosmic Mother will protect you. A surge of spiritual illumination swept over me as I took possession of the amulet, awakening many dormant memories. The talisman, round, ancient, and quaintly crafted, was covered with Sanskrit characters. I understood that it came from teachers of past lives who were invisibly guiding my steps. It carried a deeper significance still, but one does not fully reveal the hidden heart of a sacred amulet. How the talisman eventually vanished amidst deeply painful circumstances in my life, and how its loss heralded the arrival of my Guru, cannot be told in this chapter. For now, the young boy, though thwarted in his attempts to reach the Himalayas, traveled far each day on the wings of his mystical amulet.